Hiya. So it's me again. And yesterday, the Ignition patch just dropped and all of its wonderful things to come along with it. But as in ordinary global MapleStory fashion, there has to be dog shit that equally matches the beautiful things that come along with the big patches like Ignition and Destiny. So one of the most controversial events just dropped in MapleStory Reboot. I would like to introduce the Clover Guild. So, just as MapleStory actually decided that they wanted to take a route that is more similar to the original version of the game, Korean MapleStory, they decided to drop this absolute nuclear bomb on top of us that came from the Taiwanese MapleStory. This event is just broken in so many ways, in terms of both good and bad, and it genuinely brings aspects of pay to win to Reboot. I never thought that they could actually accomplish it in such a way that they have. It's honestly mind-boggling. Just let me explain. Now, when you start this event, you just go through some boring dialogue, just like every other event. And once you are finished with that dialogue, you have full access to the event. It is a coin capping event that gives you unbelievable rewards. Every single one of these rewards is good. Very, very, very good. Flames of all types. Cubes. Maple Tour passes, which is just free mesos. Experience node stones. 10 of them. You can literally max an entire skill with this. 100 node stones. 17 star enhancement scrolls. Growth potions of all types. And last but most certainly not least, I would say last but most certainly the most, the brilliant piggy bank. Oh, good lord. So this piggy bank basically gives you 1 billion mesos a day just by double clicking on it. And you can use it 10 times before it disappears. And you can buy 2 of these. Now, it says that the quantity is 2, but the thing is that this event lasts until December, which means that the shop will refresh in December. So that means that you can get 2 of each of these rewards twice, which means that you can get up to 40 billion mesos just for double clicking on a piggy bank. Now, I did say this was a coin capping event, but there are many issues with the coin capping, because clovers drop as you kill monsters. But the issue with this is that if you kill monsters with any sort of deployables, Cannoneer, as you know, being a class with very, very, very many deployables, none of the clovers drop. And they drop at such an egregious rate that you pretty much have to kill around 40,000 mobs a day, which, if you're on totem, would probably take 1 or 2 totems depending on how fast you kill. But guess what? They're getting rid of totems. So realistically, that's equivalent to 3 or 4 hours of just farming a day in order to cap out this event alone. Now, here's where they introduce their solution to all of your problems. They basically introduce a clover tool which allows you to harvest the clovers at 4 times the speed. So instead of killing 40,000 mobs a day, you only have to kill 10,000. But wait, there's even more issues on top of that, because there was actually a way to get the clover tool for absolutely free. So they just decided to get rid of it. So now you have no options to actually get all of your clovers. So the clover tool item was supposed to cost around 20 something dollars of NX, so this is US dollars. But the clover tool was only the tip of the iceberg, because this gets so much worse. So as you can see, there is a dialog box over here that says Clover Pouch uses. Now you might be asking, well, what is a Clover Pouch? Well, it's an item that's also in the cash shop, sadly. And it costs 2.1 thousand NX, so $2.10. And essentially what these Clover Pouches do is they give you 200 clovers instantly. So they basically cap you out for the day instantly. But these Clover Pouches ignore the coin cap. So you can just use all 16 pouches and get 3,200 clovers. Now keep that number in your head. Just keep a thought of it. 3,200. Let's do some quick mental math here. The Brilliant Piggy Banks, aka the item that gives you 10 billion mesos, costs 1,700. So for both of these Brilliant Piggy Banks for the month, it would cost you 3,400 clovers. So essentially, for paying the low price of $32, you can get 20 billion mesos, and with a little bit of farming. But considering that you have the whole month, dailies is probably enough to get you another 200 clovers. And yeah, that's where we're at now. That's literally the whole talk about this event. And I think it is the stupidest thing ever. Literally, the one thing that we didn't want to come to Reboot has come to Reboot. And I'm not for it at all. And I'm pretty sure everybody in the community is not for it at all. But the thing is that this is just so busted because this is just a free waving ticket to the end game. And yet again, this is just for the month of November, because you can spend that same $32 next month in December and get another 2 piggy banks, which gives you another 20 bill, which means that you spend 64 US for 40 bill. And considering that the Star Force enhancement cost was reduced by another 20%, that 40 bill during Star Force, Shining Star Force, which is on December 11th, will give you an unreal amount of progression, assuming that you don't get unbelievably unlucky. So, what is my final verdict on this literal heap of garbage? In terms of what it brings to Maplestory, absolutely nothing. There's no surprise about that. And to be honest, I don't even think Reboot gets the worst of it, because at least Reboot is entirely, or for the most part, PvE. I want to know what effect this has on Reg server, considering how inflated, or deflated, Meso is already, and considering that everybody's going to have a huge injection of Meso through this event. I want to know what it's gonna do in the regular server. That's probably gonna be an absolute nightmare, considering that Reg server has already been broken for ages, hence why nobody plays it whatsoever. But yeah, as much as this leaves, like, you know, an aching hole in my heart because it introduces pay to win to Reboot, it definitely is busted. And if you don't want to farm for all of your gear, you know, to get it to at least a reasonable state, then yes, the 64 US is definitely worth the 40 bill. It's just so disrespectful of all the people who put time into like weekly bossing mules and stuff. I just think that it's really dumb. Personally, I have my Genesis weapon cubing and my Shining Star Force coming up, so I'm probably just gonna bite the bullet. This is like what else do I say? It is scary though, because this could be like the red pill of like Maplestory Reboot. Let's see how far this rabbit hole goes. Matrix type thing where, who knows, they could keep introducing events like this and it'll absolutely just break the state of Maplestory Reboot. So If Nexon does somehow get a hold of this, please do not introduce events like this again. This is really, really, really bad for the health of the game. And please share this with other content creators so that they can maybe help spread this message, because realistically, we don't want any more events like this in Reboot, especially for the end game players like Shoxy or whoever's at the top, you know, to get their time absolutely disrespected by events like this. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and sub, or I will literally eat your mesos faster than Star Forcing does. Peace.